So, for today's talk, I'm going to um, talk a little bit about the art that I'm making and give some tips. I'm not an art teacher, but I've been doing art for a while, and what the tips I want to share are just what helps me make something that I like. So, I have taken some classes online at the community college, both in Hawaii and here in Michigan, and learned a few tips and tricks, but I'm definitely not an art teacher. I'm more of a creativity teacher, if you will. How to let yourself be creative because we all are when we allow it. So, I have some pencils today, colored pencils, that I've been working with these for a while if you've been following me on social media. And I have some paint, some gouache paint laid out. Now you're looking at my face instead of the palette and my desk, but here's the colors that I'm working with today. And that's my first tip is work with a limited palette. I love all the colors. I want all the colors out at once, and sometimes you get mud when you do that. And so picking two, three, four, making sure some are dark, some are light for contrast, some are warm, some are cool, again for that contrast. And you can look at other images to choose your colors too. I like interior design, so that's one. When I see an image of a beautifully designed home, I might notice what are those colors. Um, or sometimes I just pick them intuitively. Like today was yellow and purple. I wanted to show what I made last time, Wednesday, when I went live. So this was the image I made on Wednesday when I went live for the first time, and I had I'm not sure which way it needs to go. This is horizontal paper, so kind of a limited palette. There are some blues and yellows that make green when they mix together, and then a little neutral to kind of soften it. So that's enough about the supplies right now. Oh, the only other thing I wanted to share was working in layers. It is so much fun. And I learned that from the Art to Life School, which I took their program online, gosh, 3 years ago now. And we worked on wood panel, which was great. And I started using my palette knife instead of the paintbrush. And we could just put a layer, we use acrylic, let it dry, put another layer. When it was still a little wet, you could sort of make designs with it too and see what was underneath, let that come through. And that gives a real richness to the finished product versus just, one color and that's it. And I worked in black and white for years and then with color, but very minimal, a lot of white space. And my paintings from that minimalist period, I put them on mat and I had some pop-up sales and I had some left over. And sitting in the closet in Hawaii, the paper gets a little mildew, it gets brown spots on it. And so I was so bummed about that. I picked them up this summer, brought them to Michigan, and I thought, they look even boring to me now. They were so peaceful and soothing at the time. The pops of color were a real step forward for me. But I decided to add to them now. And so I have one that I started here. So this orange and blue with the white was all that was there originally. And then I just added this pink today and a little green. And this is some soft brown pencil. So I'm going to be working on that today, covering up those brown spots and making it beautiful again with fresh eyes. I think it's so funny how our style evolves and what we like at any given moment has to do with where we are. So if you are watching the replay of this, please leave me a comment what you're working with today and if any of those tips are useful, if those are things that you do already or you learned something from that, let me know. I'd love to start a conversation in the comments about our art process. So I want to do a talk today as well while we're making art. Usually when I've done live art making, it's been doing it, bringing people into meditation, quieting the mind, and then doing silent art making. So this make art with me is now a little different because I want to chat about a topic while we're here together. And if people are here with me live, you can join in the discussion through texting, sending emojis, anything like that. And of course, afterwards as well. So I want to talk about creative liberation, which is something I want to define for you by what I mean for that. And before I get to the definition, what I want to say is that this concept came to me through my own awakening. We have awakening in sort of layers like an onion. First for me, it was like personal healing, then it was spiritual awakening, and now it's awakening to societal constructs that have such a deep influence on us. And I've even changed the kind of support that I provide others, where I'm like pointing out these destructive messages that we've internalized. And so, how that relates to creative liberation is what I want to say is that if you're blocked creatively, or you have self doubt around your ideas, your innovations, your art, your magic, it's not your fault. You know, Particularly women, we can do a lot of self blame. Oh, I should be making this or doing this in the world or creating this in my community, and I'm not. What's wrong with me? But we are told from an early age um, that there's a certain way to do things. And if we're not doing it that way, we better not be doing it. This is conditioning, what I call toxic conditioning. So I have notes over here. I keep looking back. And I have, oh, that's another tip. You can have several pieces of paper or wood or whatever you're working on out at the same time. So if you have extra paint, you can put it there. And I have that here as well. This other piece that I've been putting this new limited palette on there. So, yes, for me, liberation creatively is simply freeing ourselves to create what we want to and what our spirit is calling us to do. So, the ability to do that and to take an idea from that inspired download to a real world thing out for others to see and benefit from is what a creative, liberated person is doing. And it's taken me a while to get here. And I want to talk about, well, a little bit more about the conditioning. I won't get into it that much, but beliefs that it has to be big. That's one that can hold us back. It has to make money. That's a big one in a capitalist conditioning that many of us are under, particularly in the United States. And it has to be perfect, whatever that is. Now, perfectionism, we often say that's a personal flaw, but we are told again and again, here's how to improve it, here's how to make it better, here's the people that know. And the people who I believe need to be putting our stuff out there in the world more are people that we don't hear from as much. People that are, living a different experience. People of color, people with disabilities, women, people who have lived in poverty, or have lived under tough circumstances and can express that, either help people in those similar situations if they've overcome, or just share their creativity from that lived experience. So it's not the ivory tower person that says, of course, what I make is fabulous because I'm at the top of the food chain, so to speak. No. So, my thought with talking about this topic is that more of us, or all of us, need to. And that leads me to my next point, which is why now? The world needs us to, all of us who are on the side of love, kindness, beauty, equality, and nature, both our human nature, but also the natural world. We need to show up and, in the ways that we are each meant to show up. And it can be overwhelming to see what's going on in the world and, think we want to make a difference, but not know how to do it and believe that we can't make a difference, which keeps us stuck and depressed, to be honest. But only if we believe that we need to do it alone, which is also toxic conditioning from individualism. We don't need to, we have our part to play, but the whole weaving of each of our parts coming together is what is going to have the momentum and the impact that we all want to see. And our part is uniquely ours. And I'd like to share what I've come to know at this point in my journey. It, of course, is not all clear. And I still have those moments of overwhelm, like, how can I help? So one thing I'm doing is wearing the keffiyeh today in honor of Palestine. Yesterday, I was at the Arabian Nights Celebration Festival here in Michigan, and it was such a demonstration of the beauty of the Arabic cultures. It was a mixture of cultures from different countries. We had food, we learned some dance, and we had the arts and crafts, the herbs, the tea. I mean, it's just beautiful. And the Palestine Aid Society of America was there selling the keffiyehs, and they are an organization you can look up if you'd like to donate to them. There's a lot of good organizations out there doing work. But I'll tell you, I wanted this scarf over a year ago, and here I am wearing it on camera live, and I'm kind of proud of myself. I know it's a small step, but we each have to do it when we're ready. And I just feel that, now is the time. If you're familiar with Basan, the influencer from Palestine, she was online yesterday saying it's now or never. And it's funny, I had this planned already, but then I saw that and I thought, okay, it's now for me. And but that may not be it for you. It might be something more local. Maybe it's the immigrant community here in the United States who are being really treated horribly, put into these facilities that are not even, they wouldn't even be good enough for animals, right? And they're just treated so badly with no due process and with no human kindness. Or maybe it's the rights of women that are being chipped away at in different states, but also on the federal level. It could be so many things, and it's going to, as I said, be unique to you. And so, one of the other things for me is that teaching people to go within to find out what that is for them is one of my callings, because it's been so fundamental for me to be able to quiet the thinking mind that tells me I have to do everything or nothing, right? Just get stuck with the overwhelm of everything that's going on and then takes no action. Quieting that part and letting my spirit or my heart or the subconscious mind, whatever terminology feels comfortable to you, but letting that more wise part of you, maybe the gut brain, the pico, they say in Hawaii, speak to you and let you know what is yours to do. And and then developing the courage to actually do it is the next step, moving out of the comfort zone. And I do have a course that I am launching right now, just offering creative liberation course, as you can imagine. If you need help with this, there are several options for you. You can do a self-study with the materials, or you can join me with a group over 12 weeks. It's 6 modules, but we'll spend a couple weeks. There's a lot of material there for transformation, deconditioning, and learning to trust intuition, learning to move out of the comfort zone and work with your nervous system to do that, feel safe, and to enjoy the process of creating what's yours to create in the world. And a couple of things have come to me for my own personal way of resisting what's going on right now. And one is to create community in real life, IRL. And I'm right here making community online with the broader world, whoever can tune into me and is curious listening to this topic and to me making art is welcome. But then having those tangible conversations, that tangible impact. I've been working with a nonprofit locally since January and inviting people into my home for gatherings. And it's not that I never did this in the past, but I really have that intention now to connect on a deeper level, to go um, further than I've gone in the past, to give what I have to give. I've been a therapist for 25 years, so I'm giving that mental health knowledge to the folks at the nonprofit. And um, I love having festivities, so cooking and sharing and dancing, art making. So doing that with people that I've known here and bringing disparate people together to create more of that sense of community rather than the one-off connection, creating a network of people that can be there for each other, both emotionally but physically as things come up. Excuse me, my dog is ready for dinner pretty soon. So that is another way. The final way I want to share is one that I've had the idea of and I haven't put it out into the world yet, but I'm very excited about this idea. And it's about creating art with a message. So sharing some of my beliefs through the artwork. And of course, this has been done around the world and through the ages in different ways. But I want to challenge you. If a cause comes to mind and you're an artist or you're wanting to express yourself creatively through making art, maybe it's writing poetry, maybe it's a song, maybe it's dance, or maybe it's painting, drawing, whatever modality, how could you integrate your beliefs about social justice or the wrongs of the world or how to heal the world through your art? So I'm going to be working on that. I'll be sharing it with you as well as I create things and bring them out and have more ideas of how to do that. I today haven't really shared much about how to liberate yourself creatively. I haven't done much painting either, more chit chat. But I hope you're painting as you're listening there. The I did a video series last week on pain-free goal setting, how to set goals. And this could be like a vision that you have. Maybe something comes to you in meditation that's yours to do, and you get a vision. Sometimes I get that. Not always. Sometimes it's just like this idea with doing resistance art. It's just a thought. It's not a full vision of what it looks like yet. Other times I've had a like crystal clear vision of a thing. Actually, Creativity Lounge was like that, but that was actual physical lounge. I didn't think I'd be just talking into my phone for the first stage of it, but here we are. You got to start somewhere. So let's say you have a vision for something, but it seems so big or it seems so out of reach. Well, the videos that I shared last week, there are three in this series. There are a little bit of repetition within each one, but check those out for some how-tos on making the journey more enjoyable and taking those steps forward without pain, struggle, hustling, that kind of thing. Please excuse my dog again. He really wants my attention. I'm going to wrap it up here, but I will be sharing some more how-tos over the next couple of weeks at this 6 o'clock time Eastern on Sunday. So a week from today will be the 24th of August. I will be right back here for another live. In the meantime, give me a like if you got something out of this. If you made some art, share that heart, subscribe to my channel, and leave me some comments about the topic or about your art process. I'd love to connect with you, and I will see you next time. Aloha. Bye for now.